This is the brand new Bvlgari Man in Black Parfum. I blind bought this. Welcome to yet another first impression and welcome Sandra Solomon Fragrance!
Yes, hi everyone!
So this will be exciting. I know I missed a few of the flankers in this line. I think the original Man in Black smells absolutely fantastic. However, the performance has always been quite horrible, at least on my skin. But when I saw that they released the parfum, I was hoping for something that really performs and also smells amazing. So this is a first impression. We have not smelled it, but I did spray this on the dry down sticks and the whiff we got was pretty good.
Oh yes.
So like always, please do the honors
I
of
would
spraying
love
on.
to. There you go. And wow.
Very spicy and a
Yes.
bit sweet. And
bit
I
sweet.
kind of like it.
A bit ambery.
This is, at least right now, straight away in the opening, very spicy intense. But spicy intense in not a sort of a super bright kind of way. There's a bit of sort of a spicy brightness to it. But this is almost, and it sounds weird, but like a dark and rich kind of spiciness. And right behind that spiciness is something sort of slightly sweet, and I like it.
Yes, and I really agree about the spiciness. To me, this is a very peppery spiciness. It's really rich, but still there is something fresh a bit on top. Then you have something woody underneath and also that sweetness, but I also think there is something that is kind of soft in the background.
And the more this thing heads into the mids, the better it gets. I think this smells really, really good. And I once upon a time promised that I would stop using the word really, but I really can't stop using it, so apologies. This smells gorgeous.
Really gorgeous.
But it also smells familiar in a way. So
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of fragrances with this kind of opening, but there's definitely a hint of familiarity here. And I'm not sure if, I don't think this is super close to the original. There's like a bit of the original in here, but I also feel this is quite different. But yeah, definitely an opening that smells really good and also really good in what I think is quite a mass appealing way.
Yes, I really do agree that this is really a mass appealing, really fragrance. And I'm really curious to find out which one this reminds you of, because I also feel something familiar in this. I have smelled this exact spiciness in some other fragrance and it's really nice.
Yeah, this drives me crazy. I've been trying to think of which fragrance this reminds me of. But maybe it's like a mix of different fragrances.
Could be.
But I know this opening smells really good, but I know it from some other fragrances. If you know what Bvlgari Man in Black Parfum sort of smells like, please put that in the comments. So that was the opening, let's move on to the dry down.
Yes.
Okay, there's still this massive, it's not just a hint, it's like a big sign that screams there's something quite familiar about this fragrance. But since I don't know which fragrance it reminds me of, let's just move on to the scent itself. The dry down to me is sexy woody.
Yeah.
Sexy woody with a bit of spiciness to it and something slightly sweet. Now, I don't know what kind of sweetness that is, but that sweetness adds another layer of sexiness to this sort of a spicy and woody scent. Now, there's something else in here, but I don't know what it is.
I actually just figured out what this reminds me of. Listen to this, because this is a bit weird. So the spiciness in this one reminds me of the spices in Oud Isfahan from Dior.
Okay.
Just the spices, not the oud and not the rose.
Okay.
And also together with Ambre Nuit from Dior.
Ah, okay.
And some other very black peppery kind of thing.
So this is really interesting because when I was thinking of what this reminds me of, I was actually thinking of something from Dior. but I couldn't sort of pinpoint it to a specific fragrance.
And now I'm starting to wonder, maybe a bit in the areas of spice blend from Dior.
Yeah, I still don't have a clue on exactly which fragrance this reminds me of, but this, as it goes further into the dry down, I feel this heads even more into something that is quite woody. And as it dries down, I also feel that there's quite a prominent dose of something that feels sort of a quite ambery.
Yes.
So sort of a sexy, woody, spicy with a bit of sweetness and quite a prominent part of sort of amberiness. I think this is sexy. It's also sexy in quite a warm, rich, spicy, woody and deep way.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about usage further on in this video. But straight away, right now, I do feel that this is a fragrance that's more suitable for like fall, winter and spring.
Yes, now you moved so quickly into the occasions that I sort of missed the opportunity to comment on the softness, because you said it has like this warm, rich side. And what I think is amazing, and what I also picked up when you had sprayed the test strips while preparing for the video, is that it has something creamy, slightly balsamic warm over it. And that was, in the opening, it was just there in the background, but the more it dries down, the creamy, rich and balsamic side comes further. But now, let's move on to occasions. I really agree, this is a sexy kind of fragrance. But however, I also think it's a fragrance that doesn't stand out too much in any direction, which also makes it quite versatile.
Okay, so maybe I'm a bit closer to sort of pinpointing this, but at the same time, I'm not close to pinpointing what it is. But I'm thinking maybe it's like a mix of Viktor and Rolf Spice Bomb with Prada Luna Rosa Ocean, the Eau de Parfum, which is quite sort of vanillic and balsamic. So maybe a touch of that together with like the spicy richness of something from Viktor and Rolf, together with something from Dior that's quite ambery. I'm not sure about this, so yeah, let's just move on.
I'm gonna do a Therottenrebel. Oh, really?
Okay, so there you go. When it comes to usage, I do think that this is more fall, winter and spring, because it's such a rich and deep kind of scent. But as you mentioned, there's this kind of sort of it's not super deep, it's not super heavy, so definitely try this on like summer night out as well. Occasions, definitely this is sexy juice. We make sure we use sexy juice, and now this sounds a bit weird. So yeah, sexy juice as in fragrance, no other juices. We make sure we use sexy juice. Wait, forget you ever heard me say sexy juice. Man in Black Parfum, definitely date night worthy, because it's such an attractive kind of scent. Now with that said, I do find that this is such a mass appealing scent that you can use in pretty much any occasion. Spray this on for work, for any sort of casual settings, any formal settings for sure. Pair this with like a suit and tie, and you will both look and smell amazing. Yeah. But you don't have to sort of dress up for this.
No, and you know those kinds of situations where you try to explain something and then you end up going down this rabbit hole and it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
That was one of those occasions.
Yeah, but I did say that we should just forget about that.
Yes,
I'm
but
not
I
going to even say what I said.
I don't want to forget about you talking about sexy juice, because...
What do you think about occasions?
I think that this sexy juice works for any occasion, definitely for dates, but actually if you work a tie and suit in the office when you're working, this works just as good there. However, you will have to be ready, because there will be compliments, there will maybe be inappropriate comments. So
about sexy juice.
Maybe.
So let's talk about performance. This is the very first time both you and I try this. So I really need to do more tests on its performance.
Yeah.
But straight away, I do feel that this is much more potent than the OG.
Yes,
The OG
definitely.
went away within, I'm not kidding, within like 30 minutes after spraying on, at least on my skin.
Yeah.
This thing has left a gorgeous scent bubble around
Yes.
us. So I do feel that the performance is definitely above average, maybe even into something that's strong, but I do need to get back to you on that.
Yeah. So as a conclusion, you'll have to get back to them on performance, but as of this moment, we can say that this is definitely better than the original when it comes to performance.
So yeah, how would you wrap up your initial thoughts in this first impressions?
My initial thoughts is that this is a fragrance that a lot of guys will feel comfortable wearing. Yeah. It is a sexy kind of fragrance. I also think that you have to wait for the dry down because, I mean, the opening it's good and it's mass appealing, but the dry down is where this gets really good, and especially when that creamy richness comes through. I can't say it's a love yet, but it has potential.
Yeah, so you pretty much summarize it the same way as I would have. And I also feel that this is currently a very strong like. It's currently not a love, but it's a strong like, and I really look forward to wearing it. And this might end up being one of those that grows from like a strong like to a love. So there you go, those were our initial thoughts on Bvlgari Man in Black Parfum. I think that if you absolutely love the original, you will most likely enjoy this. However, be prepared that they are not exactly the same. I would love to know how you feel about the new Bvlgari Man in Black Parfum, so make sure you comment. Please like this video, thank you, I really do appreciate it. Make sure you head on over to Sandra Solomon Fragrance, sub to her, sub to me, and I'll see you in the next one.